Yo, yo, yo. Let's see. I'm gonna pull up everything, make sure we're good to roll, and we are gonna start hitting our dials, baby. I'm excited to do some more cold calling with y'all today. Last week was a lot of fun. We pulled some leads and everything. So, um, sweet. I see you guys here. If you guys can hear me, can you just give me a comment here? Drop something in the chat. I just want to make sure that I'm coming through. Um, Sweet. Let me pull everything up. How y'all feeling? Everyone feeling good? Pull up LinkedIn. Sweet. Boss. What's up? About to smile and dial, baby. All right. Let me see. Can you guys hear me? I need give me like a like or a comment. Actually, a comment because it actually pulls up in here. So if you can hear me, let me know. Let's see. Awesome. Hey, Tina, good to see you again. Super pumped to have you. All right, let's see everyone else. So Tina says she can hear me. I don't know. There we go. Sweet. Let me see if you guys are on YouTube's. Looking good. All right. I think we're looking good, you guys. Let me just drop a little bam. All right. Sweet. How are you guys feeling? How was last week? Any of you guys play with what we did last week? Tina, I know you were here last week. I'd love to hear if you tested any of the stuff that we did and what you were able to find in doing that. Anyone else, if you tested anything or anything that you applied from last week and you learned, I would love to know. That makes me super happy when I get to hear that. But I'm excited. I'm going to start pulling up my thing here and we're going to start hitting these dials. So, let me pull this up. Boom, boom, boom. I'm a little bit sick today, you guys. So you may hear I sound a little bit funny, but I'm here. I'm going to start dialing in just a second. Sweet. I see 4 of you guys on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, drop a comment. Let me know that you're here. If you can hear me, give me a thumbs up. I just want to make sure everything's working over there too. And I'm pulling up the CRM and start about to pull up our list, and we're going to hit these dials. So I recently got scolded on one of these for sharing the inside of the CRM, and person at a point, so I'm probably not going to share so much of the inside of the CRM with the client info that's wide open. So apologies if that's the case, but you guys will still be able to get to hear the convos, and it should still work good for y'all. So let me start to pull up some phone numbers, and we're going to hit our dials list today. Boom. All right, I'm cleaning my lists. See what we got. I'm going to do this. And so one of the big things that I teach a lot about, especially for sales reps inside of our programs and everything, is making sure that you're using the smart views inside of your guys' CRM. So whether you're in Go High Level, you're in Close, any of these CRMs, you can create custom lists and smart views, and you want to make sure you're using custom lists and smart views, because with custom lists and smart views, that is going to be where you get the most out of it, and you can really start to bend this thing to make it work for you. So I highly, highly recommend that you guys, as you go through this process, you guys are using your smart views, that's just going to be one of the things that's going to get you the most out of the process of dialing. It'll save you a ton of time if you're doing this. It will help you get the best conversations as well if you're doing this. And then a couple other little things too I want to give you guys. If you guys are dialing, I want you guys to think of it like this. So there's an old direct response thing that they used back in the days. And so direct response being like when they used to send out mailers and mailing lists and everything. So there's an old formula, or at least an idea, that these guys had figured out after sending a lot of mailers. And so when they're looking at the quality of the list, first of all, there's something that's called the 60-30-10 principle, right? And so the 60-30-10 principle is something that comes from direct response. Basically what it states is 60% of a promotion success comes down to the list that you're mailing, right? So 60% of a promotion success will come down to the list that you're mailing. 30% of a promotion success will come down to the offer that you're using, right? So 30% is the offer, and then 10% comes down to the actual messaging you're using. So ultimately, the majority of our success is going to come from dialing the right lists and from having the right offer. But if 60% of it is the right list, then the question then becomes what? What is the right list to be dialing, right? And so I would love to hear from you guys. What do you imagine is the right list to dial? And in a bit, I'm going to come back to this point and I'm actually going to answer that. But so you guys drive the learning home. I want you guys to put that in the chat. The answer, whatever you guys come up with, it's totally fine. Whether you know it or you don't know it, if you're right or you're wrong, don't worry. Just physically engage, because it's going to drive the learning home. Again, the more you physically and emotionally engage with something, the more you're going to learn. If you guys are just sitting here and you're being passive observers, you're not going to get nearly as much out of this. You're not going to learn nearly as much. If you guys are interacting, we're going back and forth, especially you guys asking good questions, that's going to help us really make sure that everybody gets the most out of this together. So what do you feel then is the components of a list that makes you really succeed? And while you guys are putting that in, I actually want to celebrate something. So Tina here said that she did the long last friend approach and she was able to get several leads on a very challenging campaign. That is awesome. I'm super happy to hear that. So that's results, baby. So thank you for putting in the work. Thank you for applying this, for showing up and showing up again to get even more, because now that you did that and you put in the work, what you're going to discover here is going to take you even that much further. So I'm really excited to hear that for you, Tina. Congrats. So the list that fits the target audience is what Hallie says. Sweet. And anyone else, what do you feel like is the most important components of list selection so that you make sure you're dialing the right people? I want to hear from you guys before I start to drop that. And then while you guys are putting that in the chat, I'm going to keep pulling up things over here on the list, so that way we have everything ready to roll and we're about to hit our dials, and I'm really excited. This is gonna be fun. I don't know why I love dialing people so much. It's so funny. Also, I want to hear, Tina, I know you use a long lost friend principle. How hilarious was it is one thing I want to know. Like, did you have like really funny reactions and conversations from it? Because I don't know why I find this thing like endlessly hilarious. And I'm hoping that you had as much fun and found it as funny in the process, because people, it's crazy how much they change. Leads that logically match what the majority of the current buyers are, where they are, interests, etc., is what Brady said. That's a great answer. It's a really good answer, and you're very hot, I will say. You know, you're not quite there, right? But you're really, really hot. So with that said, the things that it comes down to in list selection. So what they found in direct response was there were 3 letters that really helped them select the highest and best list that they could be using. So sometimes, guys, I want you guys to think about this like real estate, right? So if you're a real estate investor and you're looking to invest in a piece of property, the question is, what's the highest and best use of this land? Or what's the highest and best use of this property? That's how you're going to be able to maximize your investment. Well, the same thing goes with exactly what we're doing here, right? So what's the highest and best use of my time? What's the highest and best use of my energy? What's the highest and best use of my skill set? What's the highest highest and best use of the assets and resources that we have available to us? That's the question I want you guys to be asking. And when you ask that question, you'll find that the 3 letters that the direct response titans had found out are exactly what it comes down to. So you have RFM. Who here has heard of RFM? And if you know what RFM is, drop that in the chat. I want to see that. If you've heard of RFM, you are ahead of the curve. If you haven't heard of RFM, don't worry. This is only for super nerdy copywriters typically. But copy is salesmanship in print, right? So that's technically the definition of copy, is that we're learning how to sell and put it into print. And one of the reasons I love copywriting so much is because sales is an oral tradition, right? So generally sales is something that's spoken. It's something that you learn in a mentorship environment where we speak to each other in a direct mentor-mentee relationship. So I learned how to sell by going around with all these master closers and sales reps, shadowing them telling me what they were doing, trying to kind of dissect what they were doing and then do what they were doing. And it took a lot of trial and error. But what the copywriters do is, because it's in print, what I've typically found is that they are generally a little bit more clear in their thinking, because writing is a slower form of thought, right? We have to slow down our thinking, as well as when we put thoughts on paper, we can analyze them and move them around a lot better. So generally they just have clearer thoughts when it comes to all of these strategies, right? And so with that, the thing that they found was RFM was the key to be able to maximize the value of the list that they have, right? And so RFM stands for recency. So when did the lead come into the list? Did we just get this lead? Is this a hot new lead, right? Did the lead come in today? Did the lead come into, like, for example, if we're dialing outbound on real estate, which we're going to do here in a bit, if the lead came in and it's off of a fresh hot list, that's generally going to be a better lead than a lead that's been there for 6 months and hasn't done anything, right? So recency. A recency could be when the lead came in, or it could be when their last activity was, right? So maybe they just opened an email. Maybe they just text messaged you back. Maybe they just opted in for another lead magnet. Whatever it is, the recency of their action is going to then accelerate them to the top of the list, right? So that's the R in RFM. And with that, then it brings us to the F. So the F is the frequency. So how often is this person engaging with the business? Obviously, someone who's downloaded 3 lead magnets over the past 3 days, that's more frequent than someone who's downloaded only 1 lead magnet. Or if, for example, someone downloaded a lead magnet once someone downloads 5 lead magnets, that person's more valuable than someone who downloads 3 lead magnets, right? So that's the frequency. How often are they opening your emails? How often are they popping up and downloading your resources? How regularly are they showing up on your trainings? How regularly are they interacting with your business? That's the frequency aspect of the list. So what you're going to find is you have the recency, you have the frequency, and when we are optimizing for these 2 things, we're going to get more out of our list. Then the third one is M, which stands for monetary. Now, I actually like to use a little bit of a different perspective on this, and I think of it as investment. So monetary means how much have they paid before. So typically, obviously, a buyer's list is better. A buyer's list of people who have paid $10,000 is better than a buyer's list of people who have paid $1,000. And a buyer's list of people who have paid $1,000 is better than a buyer's list of people who have paid $100, right? So the monetary investment that they've already expressed for this problem or for this solution is generally a good indication of the quality of the list. So that's what the RFM principle comes down to: recency, frequency, and monetary. Now, sometimes I don't always look at it as money, because investment is what I'm looking at sometimes. So how invested are they, right? So investment meaning like how responsive are they when we're going back and forth? How much time and energy is someone putting into this? I look at those things as well. But RFM, those 3 letters will help you massively in making sure you understand how to design and select the right list for you and for the opportunity that you're working on, right? And with that, then now I'm going to start to show you guys, basically, we're going to build this list and we're going to start to dial out. But I wanted to make sure you guys had that mental model, because this is a big difference maker when you're dialing out, and it will help you get to the right people. So that way, when you're reaching out, you're going to be able to really make sure that you got the right people on the phone and that you're getting the most bang for your buck when it comes to your time and energy. That's ultimately what it's going to come down to, is making sure that you're maximizing the value of your time, you're maximizing the value of your energy, because ultimately we only have limited time and limited energy, right? So we got to make sure that we're doing the most with what we got. Sweet. So before we get too far ahead, I wanted to highlight something. So Tina said over here that she did the long lost friend principle, and I asked her how it went. She said they ended up talking about the weather and how to live in Wisconsin, and he lives in the South. I asked him to send warmer weather. He laughed, and he wasn't sure he would share with me because he was afraid I would send him the cold and snow, and he moved away from that. Another conversation was about vacationing where I live. That's awesome. Sweet. And that's the whole thing. Like, there's little tangents like what we covered last week are a big factor for here. All right, so I got my list right now. Let me just make sure. I want to double check on the last activity, so I'm making sure I'm calling enough new people too, so that way we're maximizing our opportunities. And I'd love, in the meantime, while I'm pulling this up, let me know how you're feeling and what your insights are so far on what we've covered. Oh, interesting. Sweet, sweet, sweet. All right, I'm going to call these people. It's a good list right here. All right. So I'm adding my power dialer tag. I'm also testing, just FYI, I'm testing some new systems coming up here this week to even get the dials going faster, so we can have a lot more fun doing this, and we can be dialing way more people, which I'm pretty excited about. One thing I also want to tell you guys, if you guys are using a manual dialer and it's for prospecting, it's way too slow. Generally, I want you guys to be using power dialers on your prospecting. Use manual dialers if you're going one-on-one to follow-ups and stuff. That's totally fine. But don't be using manual dialers. I was actually talking with a buddy the other day, and he said he's been manually dialing, and I'm like, dude, what? That doesn't even make any sense, because manually dialing is basically like being in the Stone Age. Like, why would you be riding a horse if you could have a car, is ultimately the question. And your time and energy is the most valuable thing that you got, right? So you want to really make sure you're maximizing your time and energy, because that is a non-renewable resource, as opposed to your money is going to be a renewable resource, right? So you're going to be able to get your money back again and again, but you can't get the time back if you waste it. So I want you guys to make sure that you're maximizing that, and then that way you guys are really getting the most out of your sessions. Sweet. Let me see. Let's do this. I think everyone's in here. We should be good to go, and we're going to start dialing. So let's see what happens here. Oh, we still got people from there too. Sweet. All right, let's hit it. Tell me if you guys can hear the calls. Should be dialing. Yes, you can use.
Hello?
Janice, how you been, man?
Who is this?
It's Mike. What's new?
Mike who?
Mike, you reached out because I think you had a question about 308 Normal Street, and you were looking to sell that. Is that right?
No.
No?
Nope.
Do you know
Thank you for
Do you know anyone
calling.
who's interested in selling a commercial property? Nope. Who is this? Who is this?
Hi, this is Benjamin Chris. Thank you for calling, but I'm unable to reach my phone right now. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Benjamin, this is Mike. I was just calling to see if you're interested in perhaps selling 615 West Peace Street. So if you're open to it, feel free to shoot me a text back on this number. I would love to hear from you and would be happy to see if we can make something make sense for both of us. So if you want to reach back, you can reach me at 321-517-2077. You should probably have it here on your voicemail anyway. So give me a holler. Look forward to hearing from you. Bye. Teresa was not having it. It's all good.
Call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Hello, can I help you?
Goldie, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good. It's Mike. How you been?
Good, I'm not sure who this is.
It's Mike. I was just interested if you're wanting to sell 3409 Amherst Circle.
Oh, you have the wrong number.
Oh, I
Sorry.
do. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
Oop. Let me pause. So sometimes whenever I get that, I'm going to just add a DNS tag. Boom. Let's do that. Boom. All right. Sweet. Should be good to roll.
Hello?
Emilio. How you been, man?
Yes, who's it?
It's Mike.
Who's this?
It's Mike. We've been going back and forth a little bit, but we kept missing each other. I was interested in perhaps buying 1119 East Pennsylvania Drive.
I have no property there. You have the wrong number.
Oh, really? You don't have a property there?
No, I do not.
Do you know someone who does, or is it somehow just like
No.
that's so weird, man? Do
No.
you know anyone who's looking to sell their property?
No, I don't.
All right, no worries, man. I'll make sure that I clean this up. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Boom. So one thing, you guys, depending on your guys' industry, just FYI, this is worth knowing. You're gonna find that certain industries will have dirtier data than others. And so in this case, we're in real estate, which real estate's generally gonna have dirtier data, especially because a lot of the data is coming from something called skip tracing. And when it comes from skip tracing, basically what's happening is that it's pulling data off of public records, which a lot of times can be wrong. It's totally fine. You just power through it, and then you just kind of compensate. In other cases, you may have cleaner data. It just kind of depends.
Hi, this is Marissa Jones. I'm unable to take your call. Please leave me a message and I will.
Seems like another wrong numbers. You guys learning anything so far? If you have, drop it in the chat. I would love to hear what you learned.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated... All right. Nada. Remember last time it took all the way to the last call, so.
Hi, you've reached Paul Santoro. I am not here to take your call right now, so please leave a message and I'll call you back as soon as I can. Thank you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Paul, I believe you own 39 West Newton Street. I'm interested in making an offer if that's the case. So if you do, feel free to give me a call back or just text me on this number. It's 315-517-2077. Again, 321-517-2077. All right, chat soon.
Hello?
Hey, Marlies. Do I have the wrong number?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh, so just tell me if I'm on the right track here. Are you the owner of 209 Columbia Drive?
No properties. I don't own any properties.
Oh, okay. Do you know anyone who's interested in selling their property?
You know what? I do not, sorry.
Sweet. No worries, man.
Alright, thank you.
Thank you. It's so funny because you know how many people have called them about their properties when they say that. Like, no properties. It's skip trace data, baby.
Please leave your message for 617-548-1399.
Hey, Robert, I looked at your building I believe you own at 19 Thatcher Street, and I'm interested in making an offer. If you'd be interested, feel free just to give me a shout back here. My number is 321-517-2077, or you can also text me on this number as well, 321-517-2077. Look forward to hearing from you.
Please leave your message for 95440190048.
Hey, Edward. I looked at a building I believe you own at 1630 North Dixie Way. I'd be interested in making an offer. If you're interested, feel free to get back to me on this number. It's 321-517-2077. Again, 321-517-2077. Thanks. Have a good day.
This is Randall. Leave a message and I'll get back to you.
At the tone, please record your message. When you have finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey Randall, I had a missed call from you. I reached out the other day because I was interested in buying or making an offer on 15 Southeast 15th Street. I believe you're the owner. If you're interested in it all, feel free to reach back to me. You can reach me at 321-517-2077. Feel free to just give me a call or a text, whatever's easier for you. 321-517-2077. Chat soon. Boom. Okay, so let's see how many dials we did there. We finished that list, and I'm gonna hit another list. While I'm checking out how many dials we did, I want to hear from you guys. What are you learning? Like, what stood out to you on this most recent set? Is there anything at all that stood out that you guys felt like you learned here? I would love to know. And then I'm going to check out my call metrics real fast just to see what we did. And like I mentioned, there's definitely a good amount of dirty data when it comes to real estate. So that's par for the course, right? No worries there. Let's see. Refresh the data. All right. For whatever reason, the call metrics are being a little bit slow. So while those load, I'm going to actually load up more contacts. And then I would love for you guys to drop anything in the chat, anything that stood out to you, anything that you noticed, anything that you learned, any questions you have, anything at all, drop it in the chat. And then I'll pop in a second after I knock this next list out, and I'll check what you guys got going on. Boom, boom, boom. Let's do last activity. So basically what I'm doing is I'm sorting to people who have positively responded to us. And let's see. I'm just trying to check out. Sweet. Okay. I'm going to hit these guys up. This is perfect. Dang, this is a good list. Sweet. So let's do. We probably got time for about 50 more dials based on kind of where we're at right now. So I'm going to select 50, and then I'm going to plug these into the power dialer. And now I'm going to check on y'all guys in the chat. All right, let's see what we got. Boom. Done. All right. So that's there, and let me see what you guys got going on. Anything you guys learned? Any questions you guys have? Anything come up for y'all? Let me see. Sweet. I see a bunch of you guys live. We got a good squad out here too. Just trying to make sure that everything's working in here. Sweet. Okay, good. Good. All right. Good. Sweet. Okay, let's hit this next list and see what happens here, baby. Ooh, that's a tough one. Come on, Dayu.
Hello?
Dayu, how you been, man?
No, this is not Dayu. You're calling California.
Yeah, I know. Dayu, you're in California, right?
I'm telling you, this is not Dayu. I get a lot of calls for Dayu.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Do you know Dayu? Or are you not connected to Dayu?
No, I do not know Dayu.
Oh, okay. No worries.
I know he's in Texas.
Oh, that's weird. Do you have any properties that you're interested in selling?
No.
Do you know anyone who's interested in selling a property?
No, sir.
Alrighty. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And forwarded to an automated voice messaging system.
Ooh, that looks good. This seems like a good one here. Alright, I'm going to dial this guy. I'm going to manually dial this one because the person dropped a text message. So that kind of gives me the rationale to do that. And we'll see what happens here.
You've called Ryan Cannon with Keller Williams. Please leave a message and I'll get back to you.
Oh, I think I know this deal. Okay.
Hi, this is Sarah. Please leave a message and I will call you.
Sweet.
Five 592407331 is not available.
Hey Alfredo, I just was looking at 2547 East Thomas Ave, and I'm interested in making an offer on it. If you'd be interested in selling it, feel free to reach back out to me. 321-517-2077 is the best place to reach me. You can also text me there too, 321-517-2077. All right, chat soon. Okay, so I just want to say something really fast. At this point, right? So we've been doing this for what, 30 minutes, right? At this point, this is when everyone gives up. They go, "Oh, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It doesn't work." Watch, and I will not be surprised if before the end.
Hi, this is Hank Maston with Summit Sotheby's International.
I'm actually gonna pause this because this seems like an interesting one here. Like, this guy is literally smoking crack, so there's no reason to talk to this guy. let me see something actually. Sometimes when you do this, you gotta make sure we didn't make offers to these people. It doesn't seem like we did, but I just want to double check. So this actually seems like a good potential. So this, I'm seeing an opportunity that's in here that looks actually pretty decent. We're going back and forth on it, but sometimes when you're working so many opportunities, you're gonna just lose track of some every now and then. There, boom.
But the person you called has a voicemail.
It's probably not a good deal.
Hello?
Hey, is this Cynthia?
Yes.
Are you the owner of 1606 North Vine Street?
Yes.
Are you interested in perhaps selling it? I was looking at it, and I'd be interested in potentially making an offer.
Not unless you offered me what I wanted, so no, I'm probably not interested.
Well, what do you want?
800,000.
Okay, and then can I ask just some quick questions to see if we can line it up?
If there are personal financial questions, I'm not going to answer them.
No, it's not. It's
And
just
I know you probably need that. So.
no. I don't need anything about the personal finances. I just was curious about the property itself.
Okay.
So can you just tell me how many units you have in the property?
6.
Okay, and then what is the actual breakdown of the units? Are they 1 bedrooms, 2 bedrooms?
They're all 2 bedroom.
Okay, so 6 2 bedrooms. And then are they all rented out, or what's the status of those?
They're all rented.
Okay. And then what's your current rent on those? And you could tell me either per unit or just the total what you're having right now in terms of monthly rent roll.
They're not all exactly the same because they haven't all been renewed. So it varies from between 900 and 1,000.
Okay. Do you know on like the typical month what the revenue is on the property?
Well, you figure it. If it's average it. If it's $1,000, 6 units, $6,000.
Well, it makes a big difference once I actually do the valuation. That's why I was trying to ask if you knew the exact.
Right. So I don't know exactly. No, I can't tell you exactly because some months there's somebody that might be late and they're going to pay late fees.
But what about the actual lease agreements? Do you know the numbers on the lease agreements?
Yeah, I do. I'm not willing to discuss all that's kind of financial stuff. I'm not willing to discuss unless there was an offer, and I understand an offer, and then if you back out after that, that's fine. But I'm not going to disclose that because I'm not trying to sell it. Not right now, anyway. I mean, I would if I got what I wanted, but other than that, I'm not.
Yeah, I mean, I may be able to give you what you want. The only thing is that like the valuation is going to be based on the rent. So I would need to know
Right.
that. If you're not comfortable with that, I'm not here to pressure you into something you're not comfortable with. But I would definitely want to make an offer if I had that info. I could get it to you today.
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah, it's between 5,500 and 6,000.
Okay. Sweet. If you want to hang, I can literally figure out what my offer will be right now.
Go ahead.
All right. Ooh. I'm pretty close. I'm at 780.
Mm-hmm.
Is it?
No.
Can we connect the dots there?
It would be as low as I'd go.
What would?
I know right now, I mean, you got 6 units. You cannot build 6 units for, I know what it would cost to rebuild it. I've got a very good location in downtown Victoria. It's not changing. I've lived here forever. The area is not going to change. It's not going to go, to the ghetto or something like that. So
Yeah, I know.
I've owned different properties all over Victoria. So I know that, there's been areas that have gone downhill and areas I've sold years ago. So this is the one that I held on forever.
Yeah.
I knew.
Yeah. So you said you wouldn't consider 780?
I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, I have to really think about it. I don't know. I mean, what is your name? You want to text me is better because I'll have your number.
Okay.
Versus me having to go through and look through all the calls I have.
Yeah, of course.
So.
Okay.
And what kind of deal is it? Is it cash? Is it financing? What are you doing?
No, we're generally, it depends on how we line it up, but generally we're going to have some sort of financing involved.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So typically we're a small group of investors, and so typically it would be something where we would use in some sort of financing, just that way we can accelerate the returns, and it makes it where we can get you your price, and it kind of gets us closer to a win-win.
Where are you located?
So I'm in Florida.
Are you out of Florida?
Yeah, I'm in Florida.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we primarily invest in the Southeast United States, and our kind of sweet spot is like a 5 to 50 unit. Usually I typically like a C, B class, 5 to 50 unit. That's kind of our sweet spot. So, I'm going to text you, and then I'm going to sit down and just see if I can maybe make some numbers work, and then perhaps we can chat a little bit later.
Okay. All right. Sounds good.
All right. Pleasure to meet you, Cindy. Again, my name's Mike as well, so I'll text you my name, and then that way you can save it in there.
Okay. Yeah, I don't mean to, I'm not trying to.
No, I'm sure you get calls all the time from people.
But this is something I'm leaving to my kids, so I don't really care if I ever get rid of it or not, so.
I hear you.
I'd have to get, yeah.
How many kids you got?
I have 3.
Yeah. I have I have a second on the way right now. So I got one and a second on the way.
You know, mine are probably all older than you, so.
I'm pretty young. I'm only 32, so.
Okay, I got one younger than you then.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. Well, I'll see what we
Okay.
can do on our end, and then I'll shoot you a text back.
All right. Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Let's go! Yes. Okay. Hell yeah. I want to point out something. I said at minute 45, this is when people give up, right? I said, watch me before we finish. I'm probably going to get one. And wouldn't you know, that's actually a super nice opportunity. So, hell yeah. Hell yeah. Now, I want you guys to break down what you learned, what you discovered. I really want you, again, for you guys to get the most out of this. The more you give, the more you're going to get. That's just the law of the universe. The universe abhors a vacuum, so the more you give, the more you get. Put into this whatever you can. If you guys are here and you're focused and you're with me right now, let me know what stood out to you. What did you learn? What about that call stood out to you, especially is what I'm interested in. And overall in our session, what stood out to you? I'm really, really curious about what you noticed. And thank you, Tina, for the congrats. The difference is not giving up. Like, at this game, you got to have grit. How many people are mean to me? How many people are hanging up on me and all kinds of stuff, right? But you got to have that grit. You got to stick in there. And if you stick in there, you're going to get there. That's just how it works, right? So ultimately, that came together really nicely. I'm super happy with how that came together. That was a lot of fun. And let me see where everyone's at here. It seems like we were on Facebook, and I don't see us on Facebook anymore, which is weird. I'm checking all the chats, though. So if you guys are on LinkedIn, I'd love to hear from you. What stood out to you? What did you learn? If you're on the replay, drop it. Like, yo, if you guys are on the replay, you got to stick to the end. I would love to, but I don't have time to do any more calls, my man. I would love, love, love to do it. But I got to run in a second. But yeah, in fact, so I lowballed her a little bit. My evaluation came out quite a bit higher, so it seemed like it's a pretty good deal, and I lowballed her so we can find a good sweet spot, and it feels like she haggles and gets a deal, right? So I want her to feel like she got a deal. If you sometimes just make a direct offer at what they are priced at, then they get reluctant because they think that they priced it too low. So that's why I came in under, but yeah, that came together nicely. What else stood out to you guys? So Hallie said she knew that she knew what she wanted, but you got through it. And it's interesting that you came to the same valuation. Yeah. So generally, I mean, obviously, I can tell she's pretty smart. She knows what she's doing. She didn't just fall off the tomato truck. So she knew kind of her numbers. But I wanted to point out one thing for you guys. Like, did you guys see that resistance? Like, I'm not gonna tell you nothing. And that kind of energy came off on the beginning, right? But the thing was, I didn't care. And that's where, like, sometimes when you guys are in, like, I was talking with another rep about this yesterday, and he's like, oh, the people are not set right. And it's like, dude, you have to be able to call someone who doesn't want this at all and be able to get through, because that's when you are really good, right? So we got to the point where we got a good offer on the table. Like, that's epic, dude. And it was so freaking easy. Like, that was not hard to bypass that. But part of the reason that it worked, first of all, I want you guys to drop why you felt like that worked. I would be super curious to hear what stood out to you and like why you felt like that worked. But then I want to share also on my end. So Yuri says, good stuff. How many calls has it been? I lost track. You're positive all the way through. Yes, dude, this is it, right? So typically when someone gets rejected like that, like, not unless you give me the number I want, right? She was indignant. She was rude. She was frustrated. And I don't blame her. She probably gets calls from people all the time that annoy the crap out of her, that are not polite, that are not friendly, that just try and jerk her chain around. So I don't blame her for having her wall up, right? And that was my job, is to drop her sales resistance, which she didn't want to give me her numbers. And then I got through the numbers, right? And I want to point out how I got through the numbers just for you guys in a second. First of all, there are 2 key components to how I got to her numbers. I want to see if you guys come up with it. I would really love to see you guys come up with it. And thank you, Tina. I really appreciate you being here again. Catch the end of this because I'm going to drop some more nugs here if you come back and you catch the last few seconds here. But I want to drive a couple points home for everyone here. So ultimately, exactly, dude, you guys are awesome. So Thomas said that low buy idea was great to hear about them fearing that it came in too low. Never thought about that, but excellent. Yep. So if I came in at her number, she would have just felt like she priced it too low. I came under her number. Now we have room to negotiate, even though she's already priced low. And then Holly says, you patiently kept speaking. And when she said, you do the math, you explained why you needed her to do it. Exactly. And there's a couple of things that I did here. So the first thing I did, right, was I didn't get emotionally charged when she rejected me. So typically, as human beings, our brains are hardwired to be completely terrified of embarrassment and rejection, right? This is why public speaking is a bigger fear than death for a lot of people. Because, for most people, being canceled is one of the biggest fears ever because we can't handle public embarrassment or public rejection. Those things are things we do not like. That's why guys are afraid to approach girls. That's why girls are afraid to approach guys. That's why people don't go out there and cold call. That's why people don't do cold outreach because they can't handle emotionally the rejection. So first of all, the rejection had no influence on my emotional state at all, right? My emotional state stayed the exact same, and I'm like, yeah, I totally get that. I'm not trying to pressure you into anything that you don't want to do. So, again, I gave her space in that statement, so now she has the space. I don't want to pressure you into anything that you don't want to do, right? So now I gave her permission to say no. Because she has permission to say no, she can then say yes. If I force her to yes, she will say no, right? Because she has to define her authority. So I gave her permission to say no, and I said, but if you give me the numbers, I'm happy to make an offer today, right? And so speed is the second piece. So I gave her speed. I said, I'm happy to make an offer today. And because I did that, then she was able to say that. And I'm like, in fact, if you give me the numbers, I'll make an offer right now. And the beautiful thing is I made an offer on the low end of her numbers. So dude, yes, epic. So that was really, really fun. I hope you guys got a lot out of that. I hope you guys took away that. The first thing is don't give up. People quit 30 minutes into it and they say, oh, cold calling doesn't work. It's a waste of time. What? Dude, the potential on this deal is huge, right? And that took me literally 45 minutes to get to that. And the potential is huge. How is cold calling a waste of time? It's not, dude. If you're cold calling the wrong people, maybe. But even then, I had a ton of dirty data and I pushed through it. No emotional concerns. And so I wanted to highlight that moment at minute 30 because it was just no answer, wrong number, no, not interested. Who is this? No, I'm not this person, right? All the way through, and then boom, we got right to the end. It's all it takes. You guys, I want you to understand too, if you're new in sales, 1 hour a day of cold calling can change your life forever. Not just from the actual money you make. You guys will get to the point of negotiating at the level I'm at. And in fact, a lot of you guys will go on to be better. That's my goal for you, is that you get better than me. And you'll get to this point over time. But just the actual dialing and the not being afraid to be rejected will change you as a person, right? You will become so much more powerful. You will have so much more authority. You will be able to be dropped anywhere in the world. All I need is my smile and I can figure everything else out. My smile and my brains, drop me anywhere. Butt naked, no wallet, no ID, no nothing, and I will figure it out, right? So I want you guys to build up that same sort of mentality. And it comes from, if you're getting into this game and you're new into sales, 1 hour a day of cold calling can change your life more than you realize, right? And cold calling gets a bad rap, but look at me. I run this company. I'm the CEO, and I'm still here doing cold calls just to show you guys it's not that scary to pick up the phone. It's not that scary to pick up the phone and talk to someone and see about, hey, do you have a problem that I can solve, and can we find something that works for both of us? And when you do find that thing, it ends up being super worth it in the long run. So I'm really grateful for all you guys for being here. I got a jet in a second. So Yuri asks, any chance of doing cold calling for another industry, say MMA? Yes, we will be doing that as well. I actually think we have a SMMA one scheduled next week. But I'm having a lot of fun with these. I hope you guys are having as much fun with these as I am. If you're catching this on the replay, drop a hashtag replay. And also, I want you guys to just write, before you sign off and before you dip out of here, write your one biggest takeaway. And so put my biggest takeaway was, and then write that out. And I want you to write that not just for you, right? It is for you, but I want you to help the other people. The people who maybe didn't watch this, and they can see what you got, and they'll learn something, and then you'll spark their curiosity, and maybe they say, hey, I'll check this out, and we can transform more lives in the process. So I'm going to ask you guys, please put my biggest takeaway was blank. Sweet. Diane says, I hope to catch you again. I cold call all day. Establishing these conversational connections makes my day better personally too. It is so fun. It is so fun, right? And I'm super grateful for you guys for being here. I'm fired up. Woo! That is a good way to end the session. So, every now and then too, you may go fishing and not catch anything. Don't worry about it. You're going to go fishing and you're not going to catch anything some days. We may have days where we do this, but typically if you sit down and you pound your dials for an hour, you're going to get there, right? You're going to get there. And if you do it an hour a day every day, you might have a day you come up with a donut, but you're going to get more, you're going to catch more often than you don't. So that's what I want you guys to remember in this. Stay positive, right? Don't be afraid of when they start to hit you with all their negativity or their rejections, because it's more a reflection of their previous experience and how everybody else has treated them. And if you just have the confidence knowing, look, I'm different. I know how to talk to someone. I know how to be polite. I know how to be respectful. I know how to care about you. I know what you're interested in, and I want to help you get what you're interested in, and I don't want to make you feel uncomfortable. When you come from that place, they'll feel it, and you'll start to see them open up like she was able to do. So that's it for today. You guys drop my biggest takeaway was, and then drop what that takeaway was there. Thomas asked, what kind of companies can I do it for? We have a bunch of companies that right now are looking for setters and that are looking for cold callers. So feel free to tap in and plug in with us. Happy to help you guys out any way that we can. And thanks again for tuning in. This was a hell of a session. And I hope you guys even go back and potentially watch the replay and catch some nuances and little details maybe you didn't get the first time. So with that, I'm signing off. Go. I want you guys, remember this, right? Change some lives, close some deals, and make some money, and go get it. I love you guys.